Cool. Mary, will you say hi real quick so we all remember who you are? Even though your name's right there. Mary, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Oh, there you
I
are.
lost audio here for a minute.
Great, great. So yeah, I'm Ryan. Mary and I are co-facilitating the process this year. Really happy to be. We're going to review the agenda together in a moment, but maybe we can just go around real quick and just hear your name and where you're coming from, at least today, and the organization that you're a part of, the project organization you're representing as part of the process, and whether you're on the council or not. So I can model that. I'm Ryan. I'm coming today from Oakland, California. I'm not on the council because I'm co-facilitating it, and I'm part of the organization Permaculture Action Network.
I'm Mary. I'm with Threshold, and I'm not on the council because I'm co-facilitating with Ryan, and I live in Amarillo, Texas. Leslie? I'm just going across.
Oh, great. Well, I'm Leslie Meehan. I've got multiple hats today. I am in the Santa Cruz Mountains in Northern California. I am wearing a Threshold hat, and I am a voting member of the council.
Noni?
Did you say me? I'm not sure if everyone is in the same order on the top. So my name is Jenny. I'm calling in from Northampton, Massachusetts. I am with Threshold Foundation, and I am on the council, and I'm here to listen until about 3. Then I have a Just Fund orientation.
Okay. Noni, are you there?
Yes. Hi, I'm Noni. I'm with East Bay Permanent Real Estate Cooperative. I'm unclear whether we're on the council.
Okay. Lauren?
Hi, I'm Lauren. I am with Weaving Earth, and I think that I'm on the council, but I'm new to the process, but I think so. And I'm calling in from Grayton, Northern California, and I use she, her pronouns.
Carrie?
Hi, everybody. My name's Carrie with Daily Acts, calling in from Petaluma, and I am on the council, and I'm excited for today.
Alexa?
I was muted. Hi, everyone. My name's Alexa. I'm here in South Berkeley and an organizer with Permaculture Action Network, and I'm on the council. Happy to be here today.
Okay. Amethyst?
Hi, everyone. My name's Amethyst. My pronouns are she and her. I'm coming from CED in Boston, Massachusetts, and I am on the council. It's my first term. Excited to be here.
Tom?
Hey, my name's Tom. I'm on the council. I'm with Shareable in Oakland, California, and we'll be reviewing Permaculture Action Network today.
Ben?
Ben Roberts, right now in New Marlborough, Massachusetts. And I am a co-steward of the collaboratory with Leslie, but I'm wearing my Library Hubs for Just Transition in New England hat today, and also helping with the tech on this call.
Yeah, we couldn't do this without Ben. Paul?
Hi, everyone. I'm Paul Baines with Great Lakes Commons. I'm not on the council, and I'm calling today from Toronto, Ontario.
Casey?
Hey everyone, I'm Casey. I'm with the Kentucky Student Environmental Coalition. I'm calling from London, Kentucky. I'm pretty sure we're on the council, but that feels like a really important thing to say, so I don't know. And my pronouns are they, them.
Okay. Vinny?
Hi all, I'm Vinny Bansali. I'm with Solidare Network, and I'm calling in from Richmond, California.
Welcome, welcome. And Susan, last but certainly not least.
Hi everybody, I'm Susan Silber. I'm calling from Berkeley, California, and I am on the council, right? I think. I've been on the council for a couple of years, but yes. Excited to be here. Calling from the Northern California Resilience Network.
Great. Okay.
Great.
Brian?
Yeah, so to clarify, yes, Noni, you are on the council. Yes, Lauren, you are on the council. Yes, Susan, you are on the council. Those three people, you are on the council. You have council seats. I have you marked down in the spreadsheet as such. So thank you for taking that position of responsibility in this process. It's really appreciated, and it makes it a better process overall. So to review the agenda, we're going to be starting in just a moment with an orientation and context setting about our goals, and what is the status of our funding pool at this moment, and what are the opportunities for it to grow over the next few months before we're finally at the point where we attune to what number each organization is going to be receiving in June. And then we will just remind how the kind of nominations process went in terms of us deciding to create RFPs and seed RFPs out of some of the nominations that we received, and how we ended up with the 14 organizations that are in the room. We'll have a real quick moment for Q&A. Leslie will lead us in some heart space grounding so we can kind of get out of our head, money, number, nervous system state and kind of drop into our heart space. And then we'll start at 11:20 with presentations to the whole group. So we'll have the library hubs group go first. We will have the Great Lakes Commons group go second. And we will have Permaculture Action Network go third. Each of you will be presenting to us all for 7 minutes about your organization, your proposal, basically what you wrote when you submitted a proposal, but like give us the 7-minute personable, here we all are to meet you and see your face version of that. And then we'll have 3 minutes for everyone on the call to ask that person clarifying questions and for that person to respond. That's real short, just 3 minutes of anything that's clarifying. So not like, hey, I didn't hear you say this and I'm wondering what's your worldview when it comes to this, like, right? Like just anything that's clarifying what the person spoke to for those 7 minutes. We'll go to the next person, 7 minutes to present, 3 minutes of Q&A. The next person, 7 minutes to present, 3 minutes of Q&A. And then we're gonna break out into small group discussions. So that'll be around 11:55. So starting at noon, we'll begin those small group discussions. And there's a review lead and a review assistant for each one. And then there's the person presenting. So those will be 30 to 40 minutes of small group discussion. We'll be using that worksheet that I posted into the top of the chat. And we'll be getting into these different questions that have come from the reviewers, and also some questions that are just general questions. And then if there's time at the end, the presenter also has the opportunity to ask a question to the reviewers if they want to. So if you're wondering, as a reviewer, how do you think my proposal could better articulate in writing what you've heard me speak about, or whatever you might be wondering, you have an opportunity to ask your reviewers a question or two if there's time at the end and if you want to. So after that, we'll come back together at 12:40 and we'll close as a group. We'll see if there were any confusions or issues, and we'll just state what's coming next for the next call. So that's our agenda together. Are there any quick clarifying questions about that? Anything that was confusing? Yeah, Noni.
The second document dropped in by Leslie. What is the relevance of the second document?
Don't worry about that. That's the agenda that I just stated, the agenda that we're following. You really don't have to pay any attention to that because that's Mary and I's responsibility is to bring us through that agenda. So if you just want to pay attention to the Zoom screen and to the review worksheet, that's more than that.
And somebody called in
hey,
on a 646 line, area code.
Yes, hello, good morning. This is Colin Miller. Sorry I'm late to the call with Open Climate Action Coalition.
No worries.
Yo, Colin.
Hey. Hi, Colin.
Hello. Hi. And just a quick question. Are we going until 1 or are we going until 12:30?
12:45 is what I think we have scheduled, and we hope we can stay to that, keep to that.
Yep.
Oh,
okay, so the next step is just sort of an orientation for this, and we're recording this for anybody who couldn't be here today so that they can hear it also. So our goals are basically group wisdom and support. What we're looking for here is we're hoping that for you who have submitted proposals, that this is an opportunity for you to strengthen your proposal writing chops and use us as feedback to help you do that. And so some of what we're doing, I mean, we're going to ask questions that we have to ask for the purposes of the report we have to send to Threshold, but really the overriding goal is how do we help each other actually do a better job of what we're doing. So that's that under there is that. This also gives you a chance to share more in depth with friends in the field, how you're working, what your partnerships are, and many times we found on these that as people heard other people's presentations, they saw where they could potentially collaborate in the future. So that's another section, another part of the process. The other thing from our perspective of trying to raise money for all you wonderful, wonderful projects is to engage funders and potential funders in this process. And from that, we thank Vinny very much for being here, because this is her first time from Solidarity Network, and there'll be others from Threshold. Jenny and Leslie and I are currently Threshold members, and there are a few others who will join us over the course of the calls. So those are kind of our three goals in terms of doing these calls, and why this process seems so complex. It's really to build a community of people who are supporting each other in doing the best work and getting the best funding they possibly can for the work that they're doing. So that's our goals. Leslie?
So hi, everybody. I'm here. I'm going to take off my council hat for a second and put on my Threshold Collaborative Funding Weaver hat, because I've been the person in the center of being the advocate ambassador within Threshold for raising money, and also raising money outside of Threshold. And I have some mixed news to report. I'm going to start out with the not so good news first, that the current state of the Threshold contribution to the grant pool is less than it was last year. We're about $95,000 right now. That's not final, but it's at this point running about $30,000 or $40,000 behind where we were. We've known that we need to move beyond single source funding within Threshold. This just confirms it. So we're looking at Threshold as a foundation, priorities and strategies over this summer as a whole foundation. But for this year, we have less than we had before, and we wanted to give you guys a heads up about that. We're also not sure that we have enough money in our separate collaboration fund to cover all the council stipend and expense money that we need. So it's possible we may need to dip into the grant pool for some of that money too. Again, not sure on that, but we just wanted to be transparent about that, because this is how we roll. The good news is that we do still have other allied funders who are going to continue to fund us, and we have a whole new ball game of new funders that our proposals are visible to in the Just Fund platform that you all submitted to, and we don't know where that can go. We do know we can endorse proposals on that network. I'm talking with the founders of that network and other funders who are part of that funder community. So these are exploratory conversations. We're not sure where it's going to lead. May not help our pool this year, but hopefully going forward it will. So that's the general news. It's not great news to hear, I'm sure, and not fun to share either. Digesting it over the last couple days, I'm reminding myself, and others have too, that really community comes first in our work together. Love first, then money is how we describe it. And we're all in this together, and we're going to keep just resourcing together and supporting each other's work. So that's my report for now.
So to remind folks, a lot of being on the council is agency in the decision-making process together about how we steward this and how we distribute resources. So to remind folks, we had people that were already on the council, some of which are still on, some of whom of you that are here now weren't on the council when we decided which nominations would become RFPs, because it was the council deciding that your nomination would become an RFP. That's the reason you're now on the council. But to remind folks, we decided to choose 8 of those nominations that were submitted and turn them into RFPs, requests for proposals, and choose an additional 6 of those nominations that were submitted and turn those into seed RFPs. And we distinguished at the time that, you know, the seed RFPs could get just as much money as someone who received an RFP, or maybe even more if they really, you know, demonstrated to the council that that was the proposal that the council believed needed the most resources and was going to do the most with those resources. However, we did mention at the beginning that those seed RFPs may end up getting less money than the folks who received full RFPs. We threw around the number $2,500 just as something to gauge. So we didn't want people thinking, oh, does low mean, you know, $500? Does low mean $100? And we didn't want people thinking, oh, well, low must start at 10,000. We, not that that 2,500 really means anything of significance. We just wanted to give that number as like an idea of what we meant by possibly getting less. So with the number coming in at this moment, like 95,000 in the pool so far, that number could be something to be mindful of. Hopefully we'll have more money by the time summer comes around, and that 95 will have increased to 130 or 150 or $200,000. We don't know. We will see how things go. So we're going to ask questions in regard to different funding scenarios on the grant survey, which will be sent out after all 4 of the review calls are complete. So after we do all 4 of these review calls, we'll send out the grant survey that will be asking each of you on the council to give your input on which of the 14 total proposals, you know, line up in comparison to one another and what they need in your eyes in terms of resourcing from the total pool. We'll also be asking questions about what we should do in terms of things like, you know, let's say we only have $100,000 to distribute. Should we end up in a scenario where we actually don't give the bottom tier of proposals anything, which we've never done before? Or will we have a number like $2,500, that's our bottom, or $1,500 even, that's, we definitely distribute some money to even proposals that, you know, were maybe seen by the council as not being the highest priority in needing funding from the total pool. So again, it will be up to all of us. We'll all have agency in that process of deciding how that money is distributed and what kind of stratagem we want to use towards that. In the meantime, we're going to keep working on finding more funders. And if you have any ideas for that, you want to refer a potential philanthropist or funder to this process, someone you know might want to make a donation towards this after you've seen how, you know, effective this process is and how collaborative and democratic it is, contact Leslie. Leslie will be the point person between connecting new donors and new funders with this process. So with that, and before we drop into like heart space and start the process for today, are there any quick questions, clarifying questions on everything we've said up until this point? We're just giving another moment to make sure.
We don't know of any other group that's working exactly like us. I've heard of one other that's doing something similar, but this is really, really unique, and we think is cutting edge for the world of philanthropy. That's what we're pushing, because you all know much better than we do what needs to be happening. So you're part of we think, a fairly revolutionary process, and we just welcome you and honor you deeply for your commitment to it.
With that, Leslie, when you're ready, do you want to take us into this heart space activity?
I'm muted. I'm going to try sharing my screen for a minute, see if that's easy. There we go. So you guys can see this image. So everybody take a breath for a minute. This is a lot to absorb and a lot to do, but it's all good. We're really we're really all here together. And just look at this image for a minute about, this is the image of the collaboratory, the logo of the collaboratory. And imagine that we're all sitting around a fire in the center. And if you want to, you could close your eyes, or you could just imagine each of us sitting where we are in our communities, with the communities that we work with around the country. And imagine the people and the gardens and the schools and the libraries and the waters that are in each of our communities, everything that we love and care about, the people and the place. And that's what this work is nurturing. It's nurturing the people and the places in our communities, and us, as we are stewards of those peoples and those places, you know, doing our best to build thriving, resilient communities. So let's celebrate the amazing people and work that are gathering here today, and have us bring all of our hearts and minds and hands to supporting this work together. May it be so. Alalaho.
Alalaho. Okay. So we'll move into